Hello. This is going to be a short little video because yesterday we was having a conversation about short little video because yesterday we was having a conversation about what have changed from then and now, and I said really not too much have changed. We are still the same people. It's because of what's around us that made us change. And I said we was talking about how back in the days, it was more loving songs. The songs was more loving. They had the red light, green light parties, and they used to dance together and slow jam. And but now it's girls in one corner and guys in one corner. And I said that was set up by design. We didn't change. That was set up by design. So, when I say something, I try to find stuff to get you to understand what I'm saying. And what I said was the frequency is what changed. The frequency in music is what changed, and that the music is what controls. Like how they changed hip hop music, because hip hop music came from the heart. The beat, when you first hear the beats, people trying to get out that era, but they pushed it out by changing the hertz. When we first was doing hip hop music, it was by the beat. You did it. You hit your hand on something like the heartbeat of the drum, the boom boom, boom boom, boom boom, boom boom. So if you want to know how to get people to think a certain way, you're going to play certain music. And it's also the writers that we have are now programmed by the machine to write songs so people do not come together. Okay, so we're going to make this video short and sweet. But I want you guys to understand what I'm talking about. So I never want to leave y'all short when me and somebody is talking. And if I'm the content creator, my job is to show you what I'm saying. So we're going to start with extension. Okay? All right. Now, not only is music a frequency, it's also math. It's also math. And it has to go together. That's why people study music for years. You just can't just go on the piano and just keep hitting any key and it's going to sound right to the brain. So let's look at the math side of it. It's frequency is math also. And once you learn how to do that, you can control the people. You control their actions. You control what part of their body move. You can control if it's elevated music, as they call it back in the days. That's the music that make you relax. You got the music that make your feet tap. You got the music that make your hands clap. You got the music that make your head move. How is all of that possible? And they also got the music that make you don't want to dance with nobody. They just want to make you just jump in the air and you get like real free spirit, like the rock and roll music. But every music sound has a job to do. And every so often they change the frequency so they can get you to do other things. Okay? Now, we're going to get to the next one. Hold on. Let me get it for you.
BusyWorksBeats.com. Today we continue our music theory series right here at BusyWorksBeats.com/music theory. Today we're going to cover the 432 hertz mystery. What is it and why is it so important and why do so many people hate it? So firstly, I'll break the myth that 432 doesn't matter. It comes down to this. I'll keep it simple. I'll get straight to the point in this video. I don't want to bore people, okay? Like other channels, they talk about 432 was not good. It doesn't sound good. It's just gone in for no reason. Anyway, this is what it's really about. This is the ancient science, okay? So Pythagorean triangles, they taught you these in school, but they didn't tell you why it was so important. So there's a golden ratio. There's a perfect ratio when it comes to shapes in geometry. I'm not going to get into everything about everything, okay, and the occult. But what it comes down to in this triangle is that you have one angle that's 108 degrees, and you have two other angles which are 36 degrees, and together they make 180 degrees combined. Now, the other secret on top of that is that 108, if you do numerology counting, which is adding the numbers within the number, so 1 plus 0 plus 8 is 9, okay? And 3 plus 6 is 9, and 3 plus 6 is 9. And 9 plus 9 plus 9 is 27. 2 plus 7 is 9. So this is what they consider a perfect ratio. Also, there's a 3-to-1 ratio per each side. There's a deep science to it. I'll leave a link below to the guy who explains like the math behind it. I'll also leave a link below to the secret BPMs video that I made explaining this. So pull out your calculators with me and let's do some math. Very simple math. So I have my iPhone calculator. So here's how you find all the secret numbers. Okay, so 408 times 3. Oops, did that wrong. So 408, okay, times 3, meaning creating multiples or harmonics. I did that wrong. Did I say 408? 108 times 3. Oh no, excuse me. 108 times 4. That's the number. It's 432. I can't do mental math. I need to go back to school a little bit. So 108 times 4 is 432. That's the golden ratio of frequency. And a lot of our instruments are tuned to 440 hertz. So without going further into the math, let's describe what that means. So by default, a lot of your plugins are tuned to, if you go to the systems tab here, now a lot of plugins don't have this ready available, like this simple screen, but concert pitch is 440. And I'll play a chord progression I already played. But what happens is, it's just like when you pick up your guitar, it's not automatically tuned. So you have to tune it. The same thing goes for your plugins or your piano. When it goes out of tune, it has to be tuned. And the way they tune it, let me show you a different angle, is let's pull up Guitar Rig. So when you're tuning your guitar, now you'll notice this when you play to a lot of older records. A lot of older records did not tune to 440 hertz, especially funk, especially those genres where you're like, why is this so good? It's because they tune their instruments completely differently.
See?
So if you use a tune fork and you could pull it down to 432 to tune your middle A to 432 instead of 440, it makes a dramatic difference. Because, well, it sounded weird. Because if you play instruments that are out of tune, they sound out of key even though they're not in key. Excuse me, even though they're in key, they sound out of key because they're simply tuned incorrectly. Let me demonstrate what I'm talking about here. All right, so we have another instance of Nexus. Let's tune this one to 445 just to make sure that it's out of tune. And we're going to play in a different screen. Let's see. Just all the white notes, A, B, C, D. You can try this at home with your plugins if you want. And let's copy the same sequence and then paste it in the 445 hertz. So I'm going to pan one. Now it's going to sound detuned because that's what detuning is. Let's play them side by side. Let's play this. I'm improvising all this hard work right here. So give video a like if you like all this extra hard work that I'm doing right in front of your eyes. Okay, let's paste this and then I'll slide it over. Did I do that right? Or did I just waste my time doing that? No. Let's just do it this way. I did it in the wrong thing. Okay, and slide these over. So the first note will be the in tune one, in tune, quote unquote, and the second one will be the out of key one, or out of tune one. So what happens is when you're playing, let me just map out some simple chords. When you're playing in one tuning and not in another, you'll always think that you're like doing something wrong just because your instrument isn't tuned. It's just like picking up that guitar without tuning. You have to tune first. I'm just gonna play random chords. This isn't. There's no rhyme or reason to this chord progression. Okay. Now I'm going to detune the second piano and play the same exact scale, but it's going to sound wrong. So I'm playing all the white notes. Why does it sound out of key when we're playing the same exact notes? It's because of the tuning. Now, when you get closer and closer to 440 hertz, it doesn't have a dramatic difference. But that's the main key, is that that's the secret of it. Okay, so
Okay. So now you see music is a math problem. It's a math problem. Now we're going to get to the last video, and I want you to see what it does to you. Okay? So when I say we haven't changed as the people, but they put things around us to make it appear like we changed because our body responds to stuff that's around us, and then we get adjusted to it, and then we become it. But we as people still haven't changed. But that's by design from the big machine. They get to decide what music comes out. You have to understand they decide on what music came out. You understand? You got to think of the time, and you got to think of why was this music played. It's not like music advanced. No, all of these keys always been there. There are no new sounds. It's the same keys on the piano. It's the same tuning and untuning. The guitar still has the same strings. Not so if none of the instruments have changed, it's the hertz that changed, the tunings that changed. It's all the same thing. But they program, okay, at this point in time, this is how it's going to sound. Then somebody would, I want it to go faster. It's the same. So that makes the whole community change because it changed your mindset on things. It projects you to do things or act a certain way. So don't come, oh, music has changed. No, it has not. It's the same keys. Things are done for a reason. The machine wants you to act this way. The machine don't want you rubber dubbing. The machine wants you to be separate and apart for whichever reason. Now, let's go. Well, not that one.
look at yourself, worrying about music.
True resonant frequency is because it has been kept.
Of course, astral project, or if I want you to go to sleep, or if I want you to go into a meditative state, I can make my music do that.
The brain processes information electrically. It communicates with the cellular structure electrically, and it operates within a certain band of frequency. If you can broadcast frequencies carrying information, this technology has long been known, carrying information and perceptions within the frequency that the brain decodes information, the brain will decode those frequencies and will have those perceptions. You can externally influence people's perceptions externally by broadcasting these frequencies that we interact with because we are antenna.
The sad reality is that where we now play our music is in A440. Where did that come from? It used to be 417. A440 came in with the Roman Catholic Church. They suppressed the frequencies. They lost somehow the 152 of the best
Hey,
Gregorian
James.
chants, including the hymn to St. John the Baptist, which we've now recovered. That particular hymn was what triggered Dr. Palaio's investigation, looking for those frequencies of vibration by which the music was played. It was known as the most uplifting hymn of all the ages, the most spiritually uplifting hymn. Hymn to St. John the Baptist. It was played to 6 tones. These are those 6 tones. These are those 6 frequencies. And so the A440 is what now is the standard tuning. If you go A439, you're closer to one of the Creator's tones. If you go A441, you're closer to one of the Creator's original tones. That's how precisely it has been manipulated. To do what? To shut down the 95% of your brain, particularly the right brain that operates the heart-mind to the divine human community.
Some decades ago, there was a guy who worked out the frequencies of different emotional states. This is long ago. I mean, it's very, very sophisticated now. So every thought, every emotional response is a frequency. It generates a frequency, and it is of itself a frequency. Hate is a frequency, and it's different to love. You know, when you are in a room and there's lots of aggression and conflict and hatred, you feel it. What do people say? Oh God, you can cut the atmosphere with a knife in there. That is because the frequencies of hate and conflict have been so generated, they have changed the electromagnetic field.
Again, this video comes from a conversation that was said yesterday when I said that we have not changed as a people. And it was talking about the music then and the music now. And I tried to explain to them it's because it was by design. The machine made the artists and the musicians change the music by design to make you do certain things and act a certain way. Each song does something to you. That's why when you hear a Motown song, you automatically feel a certain way. When you hear rock and roll, you automatically feel a certain way. When you hear certain music, the first thing you do is you either want to puff or you want to sip something. Certain music makes you just want to sit down and relax and just hear the music. Certain music that make you want to jump. Certain music you just could just be by yourself with and you don't need nobody else. But that doesn't mean music has changed. Like I said previously, music has not changed. The frequency changed. It's the same piano keys. The keys are still the same then, they're the same now. The piano was still the same then as it is now. Not saying little adjustments has not been made, but the frequency was already made in each key. The frequency was already made in each time you played that guitar and the electric guitar. And then they added the drums and the beat of the drums. So when you add all of that together, you are now controlled. You are now controlled. Some songs make you angry. Some songs make you want to be in love. And they don't want, these times, they don't want nobody to be in love. That's why the music has changed. They say we don't want nobody to be in love. We're not going to play this. We're going to play that. So it makes it appear that time have changed, but time has not changed. It's still the same music. It's still the same music. It's just different.
Field of the room.
When you go driving your car and your channel on the radio is tuned to a station and you're grooving to the music,
Instruments.
you love that music. As you get farther and farther away from the broadcasting tower, that music gets static. You start to lose the signal from the clear channel, broadcast, and it gets staticky. When it gets staticky, you get a little annoyed. But you want to listen to it. You really have a heart for that music, so you continue to listen to it for another 10, 15 miles, and suddenly it becomes so annoying that you just get disgusted. You go, ah, and you shut it off. And if you continue to listen to it, it gets sick. That's what we're talking about here. Except you don't even know that you've been listening to the static your whole life. You don't even know what the true resonant frequency is because it has been kept.
Now, of course, to really be effective, we need to use the proper words and phrases, scientifically selected. But that gives you the basic idea.
See, with that music, now you need the perfect lyrics to go with the music. All this is by program, people. I'm trying to tell you, it's all programmed. That's why it's only a certain amount of people who write music they let in. That's why it's only a certain amount of producers they let in. It's only a certain amount of singers they let in. That's why everybody can't make it. You got to understand that math. You have to understand that math. And like I showed you earlier, it's a music is a science math project. It's math and science mixed up together. They mix them up.
We embed messages just below the threshold of perception, so they can go directly into the subconscious.
They can play.
So they can go directly idea. We embed messages scientifically selected.
Frequency is because it has been kept.
Now, of course, to really be effective, we need to use the proper words.
See, we need to use the proper words and the phrases scientifically selected. Scientifically selected. Okay? All right. Y'all gonna stop coming at me now and think I'm not gonna come back with some receipts now, right? Okay.
And phrases scientifically selected. But that gives you the basic idea. We embed messages just below the threshold of perception, so they can go directly into the subconscious.
They can play across a community these frequencies without anyone knowing, and it starts to have an effect, and it starts to
see the music that they surround around us. If it starts affecting us, and it changes our perception. That's why some people they like the music that they came up with, because they on that frequency. But it's not like the younger folks couldn't get on our frequency. They could, but we're more laid back now. Just like they're gonna have to scale their hertz back down, because how faster can you go? So that's why music always come back around. That's why music always come back around. There ain't but so much frequency you could, and there is no more. So then it got to slow back down. It got to slow back down, and then people get back to the lovey-dovey and all the love, and then it's nothing but a circle. That's why some music people want to do a remake of a song, and they change it up. Or they'll do music that has that frequency, because the powers that be, the machine says, okay, we're going to have to bring this back. We got too many people out here with drugs, alcohol, and very aggressive and jumping up and doing things that they shouldn't be doing. Okay, they have to remember these officers and stuff got to do quotas and stuff like that. Some people don't understand. Music break up your whole marriage. It breaks up your whole marriage because you didn't want to get married anyway. Get married anyway. That
to build rage. It starts to build anger, and people might not realize why they're feeling it, but they start to feel it. And then what they do is they trigger that with an event. Maybe some guy is attacked by the police or something, or somebody's arrested for something they didn't commit. And now there's a trigger. The blue touch paper has been lit of this manufactured frequency-driven rage, and you have mass riots and what have you, and people do things that they wouldn't normally do.
So in other words, the master composer, master conductor of the Universal Orchestra is singing love songs in 5/8, uplifting everything simultaneously.
See?
And we're the only species out of tune and accepting static for the clear channel.
Do you know that the American military, they've admitted this?
You see? You see? You see what I mean? Thank you. And if you like the video, hit that like. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe. If you got any comments, leave the comments. And also go in a little bit deeper and learn about what this music does to you. Learn a little bit more about music. Just don't like it. Learn about it. So you know what's going on with you. You need to know. All right. Peace out, guys.